Hey guys, welcome back to Interesting Video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Kalista commentary guide, and you can see the build up on the screen right now. Not gonna explain the build at all, um, yeah, because nothing has changed about the build, but I just wanted to show really the gameplay. Here we can see level 1, we're already initiating a trade against the Samira and the Thresh. Unfortunately, after I get the pull, I believe the Ignite from Leona does pick up the kill. And now I'm on 1 HP. I'm running away because I know Thresh wants to flash auto attack me to get the kill, so I'm just walking away from the wave. And now I'm letting my Leona get that last minion to share the goal with me, and then we can back. So yeah, the build is basically pretty much the same. Of course, last two items a little bit more variable. You could go for things like Wit's End or you know, other items, but I'm not going to talk too much about the build, because if you want to check out the build and the explanation for it, you can of course check out the Kalista complete guide that I did release some time ago, around when Kalista was released. Her build hasn't really changed whatsoever, and yeah, okay, so in this game it's going to be a really exciting one. Small spoiler alert, I almost get a pentakill on one fight, and then I get like 2 quadra kills, and like, yeah, so it is, and those are 3 separate events, so it is going to be a pretty dominant performance. And of course, dominant performance starts in laning phase. So Kalista is the strongest laner in the game, in terms of bot lane. That is the strongest ADC laner in the game. It's stronger than Draven in my opinion. Here you can see we are just stacking spears onto the Thresh. We get 3, we pull out the spear, Samira goes in, we're stacking spears onto her as well. Lethal Tempo has been stacked, and we just kite her out and pick up the kill. So as I'm saying, you basically can never fight a Kalista. Like, even if you're Draven, like, okay, Draven or Lucian might be able to fight Kalista, but it's risky because, in my personal opinion, Kalista is the strongest laning phase marksman in the game. So she has no trouble really fighting anybody 1v1 or 2v2 for that matter. Of course, except Draven and Lucian can be a little bit of trouble, and some other champions, like for example Caitlyn with her range, or Ashe with her range, could be a little bit troublesome as well. But pretty much if you're in range of anybody, you pretty much win in laning phase. So here a small skirmish happens in the river. Samira gets pulled in right into danger, and once again the Ignite picks up the kill onto her. I'm taking a bunch of damage. I'm kiting away the best I can. Shyvana has to flash to reach me, and the skirmish continues with Amumu joining the party. So is Ahri. And Amumu gets blocked by the Krugs and couldn't land the bandage toss onto Ahri. Morgana binding goes wide as well, and Leona is now 1 HP, so she has to run for the hills as well, taking down the ward along the way. So yeah, Kalista, very strong early game. These fights have been benefiting me a lot, because when you are the strong early game champion like Draven, like if fights happen early, you are generally the main beneficiary because you have the early game power. You can probably get kills and assists, and you can snowball off of that. Like you can see at the moment now I have 3k gold, which is more than 1k gold above Samira, and yeah, it's just a huge gold lead already for me. Of course, now my Leona is in base, so I want to be a little bit careful. Honestly, I think that if they dive me, I flash and exhaust. I honestly think I can outplay the dive, and if they dive me, I still think I can kill at least one person. And whether I die or not is a completely different story based on how well they execute the dive. So I'm really not too scared of them at all. Of course, I don't want to just walk out from under tower, because that's suicide. Thresh lands the hook, but you can see Samira is not even trying to go in. Thresh gets stunned. I land a couple of autos, and I pull out the spears just for a little bit of extra damage onto the Thresh. Now getting a ward down in the enemy tribush, because we're playing super aggressive, so jungle is likely to be attracted to this lane. Samira runs face first into a Leona combo while face checking the bush. Does react fast enough to actually flash though. So here it gets a little bit dicey. I ult Leona to save her from dying to the tower. Then I'm going back in. I tank a tower shot, unfortunately, and unfortunately I made the mistake of walking back into range to try to finish the kill onto the Samira, which did not work because Samira just activated her infernal trigger, which I was not paying attention to. So overall, you can see both me and my support, both 3, 2, and 4 exact same KDA. Those Ignites have been getting a bunch of those kills. So we could have had more gold, but unfortunately that's not quite the case. Fortunately though, we still have pretty much the most gold in the game on power to Shyvana of all people, who has been power farming her way to success. And Samira is still decently behind. She has just gotten that kill on me, but she is still decently behind, so we're not too worried about her. Here we're just trying to shove out the way so we can rotate to Dragon with the Amumu. And the enemy team will lose minions because their wave will crash. So here we're just focusing the Thresh, who is the first target. We're gonna burst him down first, killing him, and then we secure the Dragon. And unfortunately, we can't really hop the wall. We could with our Q, but that would kind of be suicide because none of our teammates can go over with us. Yeah, so we don't do that very reckless maneuver. So now back to the wave. Leona is hiding in that bush there, which we are not sure if it's warded or not. But we are just trying to maybe bait Ahri or Samira to come close, but if they don't quite fall for it, Samira does actually eventually come here, and there we go. Samira gets caught at the exact same location again, and this time she doesn't have a flash. However, Leona W once again secures the kill, remaining us at the same KDA of 4, 2, and 5 this time, which is pretty funny to a certain extent, but it's a little bit unfortunate to a larger extent because, you know, obviously it's better to have kills on Kalista than on Leona. But, you know, it's still going well in the sense that we are at least getting the kills. It's just who is getting the kills, but our team is getting the kills, so I'm not going to complain all that much. And yeah, we're definitely snowballing, and Kalista, one of her kind of limitations is she cannot really attack the backline. Like, she can only really attack whoever's right in front of her. It's a little bit like a Zeri problem, but in this case, you can manually target a backline champion, but you cannot simply just ignore a frontline champion to attack a backline champion. Like, that doesn't really work. So most of the time, you will find that as Kalista, you have to focus whoever's in the frontline and kill the frontline first before you can move on to the backline. Unlike some other ADCs that can go for the backline, like Kaisa, for example, Tristana, for example, you know. So Kalista kind of needs to get rid of the front line first, and that's one of the limitations of her. And honestly, you build on hit, so you should be pretty effective against tanks. But from what I noticed, you're really not that strong against tanks. You're really just strong against squishies, even though you're building on hit, which is kind of weird to me because we have like Bork, which should be really hard counters to tanks and things like that. But honestly, when you fight those really tanky like volley bears, you know, Swains, Scions, things like that, it doesn't really seem to really work out. So here I flash again for the kill. This time it goes successfully, and on the redive we get the kill onto the Thresh. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit slow on the trigger with the ulti to de-aggro the tower on Leona, so Leona does end up dying to the tower, which is completely on me. I had the ulti, I didn't use it properly, so that was a little bit unfortunate that we did give away a kill to them. And yeah, so here we complete our second item, Runan's Hurricane. Of course, this is core item on Kalista because her damage mainly comes from her spears, at least for this on-hit build. So you need that Runan's Hurricane to attack multiple people at the same time in order to, of course, get those spears into them for you to then pull out a little bit later on. So here, it's me and Amumu versus like 3 to 4 people on the enemy team. Maokai goes in. I thought I was dead here at first. I get chain CC, but I'm actually able to kill the Maokai and hop back out. Now I got a full stack lead to tempo with my Runans and my Bork to lifesteal. The Locket from Leona comes in to block a little bit of damage from Shyvana, and I actually survived the Maokai engage and get a kill as well. Now the only reason I can think of that happened is because Maokai together with Thresh don't really have very much damage, and Ahri is really their only damage, and when she unloads her combo, she is not enough to kill me, and as such, you know, she is not able to finish the kill onto me. So here we actually hit bot to clear the wave, but Yasuo comes here as well, which is kind of annoying whenever you go for like a certain wave and then someone else comes. I guess if you see it from the Yasuo's perspective, it's kind of also the same thing, which is like he's trying to go for that wave and then this Kalista just shows up from the jungle and takes the wave instead. So either which way, it's kind of just annoying whichever side you're on. So here a fight kind of breaks out in mid. I'm trying to make my way to the fight. The fight is kind of really deep in already, so now I'm just focusing down the Samira, who has nowhere to run. Amumu goes in, starts tanking the tower, and I'm able to finish basically the rest of them off. So here I'm just cutting the wave, getting the minions while my minion wave pushes in and they secure the tower. Shyvana does get a kill onto Yasuo on the side lane, and she is getting, you know, honestly pretty fed. She's 5-1 and 2, definitely kind of, I want to say she's our main threat, but in reality she really isn't, because our main threat is like Maokai, Ahri, or Thresh CCing us, and then Shyvana getting on top of us, because Shyvana by herself isn't really too big of a threat. Simply because Shyvana cannot really reach us. She doesn't have any dash or anything like that, so she can't reach us. So the only real way we die to her is really if we get CC'd and she gets on top of us. Here Maokai out comes in. I'm trying to stand behind Morgana so that I don't get hit. Unfortunately, I do get hit eventually. I'm gonna burst down the Shyvana door, and this is where I thought I could get a Penta. So here I get a double. I almost get a triple, but I don't quite. So here, honestly, I only got the first 2 kills, but easily could have been a Penta kill if I got the next 3 kills. But yeah, so this is where I thought is my best opportunity in the game to have gotten the Penta, but we will get like 2 quadras later on, but those weren't really, they didn't really have Penta potential, right? We'll talk a little bit more about that when we reach there. But here the whole enemy team did. We secure this tower and we recall immediately on the spot because we know the enemy team cannot reach this particular location before we can recall. You can see that because Amumu and Shyvana, Amumu and Morgana did delay time and then immediately press recall. Amumu barely makes it back, and Morgana actually doesn't make it back. She's not actually just getting chased down by Shyvana and Ahri. Ahri flashes on top of her, hits the charm, and eliminates her from the equation basically. So while Amumu is securing the red buff, I'm just gonna continue farming the raptors, and then I'm gonna grab this red buff for myself. I already have my 3rd item terminus as well as my QSS. Here Leona goes in, and here there's like, we're basically 2v4 at the moment. Now we're 3v4, and here I'm just free firing onto all of them, get a triple and a quadra. And here I say there's no Penta potential because Maokai is not visible on the map. No idea where Maokai is, and he's just not in the fight. So I'm not sure if he's like AFK in base or whatnot, but he's not trying to clear any waves, and he probably is not farming the jungle, so I'm not quite sure where he is or what he is doing. And until now on the replay, I still don't quite know where he is. There he is, but yeah. He comes out from base, which kind of suggests that he was in base the whole time. Maybe he was having connection issues or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't quite matter. Yeah, we're in a really strong spot. We just got 5 kills. We haven't actually reset yet, so we do kind of want to look for a reset sooner or later because we have 5 kills worth of gold in our pocket and we have not yet recalled. But Baron is up, so here we're actually trying to like maybe set a trap. Shyvana actually walks in behind us, and we're gonna go focus Shyvana, who is of course the jungler. Nice root by the Morgana. We secure the kill onto Shyvana, and the rest of her team is running for the hills. Now, ideally now we should straight go to Baron and start it up. Instead, we're taking a bunch of poke needlessly, and I honestly shouldn't even be doing this because I could just get caught, and that wouldn't be very good for me or my team. So here, pings come out for Baron. Amumu and Leona looks like they are gonna start at Baron, but Amumu starts chanting recall in front of the Baron pit because he has no mana and he doesn't want to do Baron. Honestly, we don't even need you or your mana, we just need you to actually smite. So anyways, here I'm just gonna attack the Baron now. Something with Kalista is you will stack a lot of spears into these objectives, so you can try to secure it with your spears as well. But since there's kind of no threat on the Baron, I'm not gonna actually pull out my spears from the Baron at all because no point. Amumu smites the Baron, we secure it. And again, we really want to reset. But Samira is getting caught here by the Yasuo, and Shyvana is walking into an awkward situation. Shyvana gets engaged on, and here, again, I'm just going to run on in. Flashing forward, I get a double, I get a triple. Going for the quadra here, which we do get. And Maokai is actually somewhere around the base because he just launched his ult. Inside, so I'm sending my sentinel. Where is Maokai? He's just back at the base. I get trolled by Yasuo, who tries to blast plant me into the base, but instead blast plants me into the tower. And yeah, so again, no Penta for me. Maybe if I killed them a little bit slower, Maokai would have actually gotten baited and actually ran into the fight to help his team, but not quite. So here, yeah, Maokai we know is in the base. But here we can't really end because the Nexus shield is pretty huge and the enemy team is respawning. Here we're kind of trolling a little bit. We secure the kill onto Maokai eventually just for a little bit of revenge. And here I'm just trying to just DPS them while they're literally under their Nexus tower. But obviously it's really difficult to kill them when they're in that position. So I'm just going to stop trolling. I'm just going to recall, pick up the Bloodthirster, as well as in this match I'm just going to build a GA. Because honestly I'm so strong at this point that I don't really need any like last item that's very valuable to my damage or whatnot, so I just thought get the revive would be good. Ice Drake has spawned, and this is going to be Infernal Soul for my team. My team is going to take some time to get here, so in the meanwhile I'm just going to pick up this blue buff. I'm going to pick up this Skull Crab. Yeah, almost to my GA already, so just need a little bit more farm. I'm just gonna start DPSing the dragon. And here, we secure the dragon, we secure the Infernal Soul, and now we're gonna start pushing. So here we go to push top, but here's a very awkward situation where most of the time everyone just AFK runs mid, while this time, everyone runs top together, and we don't actually need 5 people top. Like, at least one person should push mid or bot, but we have 5 people pushing top, which is a kind of weird situation that I never thought I would see. And I'm paying for someone to go for the mid wave. Amumu and Yasuo both path downward, but don't actually end up going to mid. Now Amumu now actually goes to mid, and here I'm just DPSing over the wall. Shyvana goes unstoppable and doesn't get CC'd as a result. The inhibitor is really low, so I'm just going to get rid of the inhibitor. And here is a little bit dangerous. We shouldn't really be fighting in this particular position. I go unstoppable to prevent myself from getting rooted by Maokai, but the Maokai roots get tanked by my teammates anyway. Here I have a full stack lethal tempo. I'm just DPSing onto the enemies, and Morgana tanks like 2 tower shots, and so does Amumu, and now they're really low. The Morgana uses her gargoyles, which I'm not sure why she even has that, and I'm just gonna focus the Nexus and finish the game. Shyvana tries her best to clear the minions, which she does manage to do eventually, but not before we put the nail in the coffin. So I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.